Hey guys, welcome back to Outcast Fiction. Today I'm joined by my good friend Wesley Fromm, and we're going to be talking about the movie Prisoners, directed by the same director of Dune and Blade Runner 2049, Denis Villeneuve. Now, from what I understand, it's one of his earlier films, and I was completely blown away by it the first time I watched it. Actually, Wesley introduced me to it. So that's what we're going to be discussing today. So I guess first off, Wes, this movie obviously takes place in a pretty standard Midwest home. They're very close with their family. I guess having grown up in a similar scenario, what points about this movie really made it like hit home for you personally?
Yeah, I think there's a lot of elements about this film that cater to everybody, but particularly me. The aspects that hit home were that it was a tight-knit family, that they were in the Midwest, and the dynamics they had, specifically like over Thanksgiving, there was a lot of little things, the director choices that I thought were really cool, of just immersing yourself in that, like, the human experience and making it feel like you were part of the film. Like they had the Lions game on, they had the little bickering between the parents and the kids. Like it just it immediately gets you right into the film, and then on top of that, just the dynamics of, as the film progresses, of how like something so tragic could happen, and then they portray each character dealing with that grief in a different way, which I think all the acting jobs are phenomenal, especially Jake Gyllenhaal and Hugh Jackman. But each character like displays their grief in a different way, and I saw a little bit of obviously I've never known any child to be kidnapped, but I have a lot of siblings, and there would be plenty of times growing up when a kid would take a nap somewhere around the house and no one would know where they were. Then they would be like, hey, where's so-and-so? And you get that like pit in your stomach, like, oh no, like your mind jumps to the worst. And so I really liked how they like portrayed that in the film.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, going into Hugh Jackman's performance a little bit, it's interesting because he has some like very hardcore roles like this, or roles in movies that are a little more like violent or crude, like Wolverine, for example. But I have a mental association of him with like very family. I guess family friendly isn't the best word, but just like movies that you like grow up with, like The Greatest Showman, or like Les Mis, or like stuff like that, where it's like as a kid you just kind of form an emotional bond with him as like as a great protagonist, as just this actor who just brings so many memories and makes them come to life.
Yeah, specifically in this one, I think a lot of his other roles, I wouldn't say they're surface level, but they're a little bit more larger than life. And for this one in particular, I was really impressed by the way it's such a heavy role, and and it's so internal, and you can see he portrays so well the torment that he's going throughout the film. And so I pretty easily think this is his best performance that I had ever seen, just by his like deep, like internal portrayal of how to deal with grief, and the character progression especially. I thought a lot of times I judge movies by how character progression happens, because it immerses yourself. It's the most lifelike, because nothing in life happens instantly. It's everything's growing gradually one direction or the other. And so if you don't just wake up one day and you're a villain, there's a series of choices that you make that turn you into the villain. And so I thought he portrayed that really well.
Yeah, that's awesome. And then going to the other lead, obviously Jake Gyllenhaal, I thought he was perfectly casted, because he's just great at being like kind of a very slick detective who's very like a very slick, like kind of strong masculine lead who's like very confident, but he keeps things to himself a little bit, but he's just very he doesn't crack under pressure easily, and he's just a great protagonist. Like in the newest Roadhouse, did you get around to watching that?
I casually watched it. I didn't
Yeah.
watch it all the way through, but
Yeah,
enough to get the gist
it
of
was
it.
kind of wild, but he plays a similar role playing the lead in that, who's this ex UFC fighter who has he accidentally killed someone in the ring, and he's like super competent. He's doing the right thing, and it's just you're just like, dang, I want to be like that guy.
Yeah, yeah. I
Super
also
epic.
I also one of the things I appreciate about that movie is there is an element of you don't feel safe or like stable with any character. Even with I would make the argument even with Jake's character because in the opening scene when they show him at the diner and he's
Yeah,
getting dinner by himself, you're instantly like, okay, he's either married to his work, he doesn't have family, he's kind of like a loner type of
yeah,
guy. And even throughout the movie, he has a lot of like, if you notice, he has a lot of tics.
yeah.
So he like does these rapid blinkings, and I don't know this for a fact, but I'm pretty sure that's a psychological showing of someone being under a lot of stress. And so it kind of, for me at least, because I had one of my little brothers when he was little, he had that same tic, and so and my mom was kind of like, oh, I think he's under a lot of stress for some reason, like try to figure out how to
Ah,
make his life easier. But when I saw that, I was like, I've seen that before, and it kind of it
interesting.
gave me a little bit of like, oh, this guy's like a little bit on edge, and
Yeah,
you kind of see the boiling point over, kind of boils over at times when, oh, I'm blanking on the name of the guy they kidnap that has all the kids' clothes.
yeah. I'm blanking on it as well, but the guy who is the schizophrenic.
Yeah, yeah, the schizophrenic when they're in an interrogation room, he just like he snaps,
Yeah,
and then the schizophrenic kills himself, and then when he's at his desk and he breaks his keyboard over his desk,
yeah.
like those are both big moments of like, oh wow, like this guy is like you want to be at ease with a character, but like it can't be Mr. Dover
Yeah,
because he's
he's his
crazy.
whole own case with a kidnapping.
Right, right.
Yeah,
And then Franklin is just like a sopping mess.
yeah,
And then the moms are obviously a mess too. And so
exactly.
there's like no one you can like feel at ease with.
And when you can really fully just put your trust in
I know.
who'll be in.
I know. So, but like that's so accurate to real life. I think it's like
Yeah,
a perfect example of a real human experience.
yeah, yeah. Let's talk about Paul Dano. Now, obviously, Tarantino's had some recent words about him, saying he's weak sauce, which I've considered and I disagree with, especially when I rewatched this movie because he's playing this kid who's obviously brain dead because he's been drugged for so many years and kidnapped, but well, essentially brain dead. But I realized I was like, that's a tough role to play. Like you have to be so like slow and just like suppressing so many like mental functions that would make even like your facial muscles and your eyes like you had to move literally everything so slowly
Yeah.
and talk slowly just like I thought he did a phenomenal job and
I agree. I honestly, it kind of made me think of Leonardo DiCaprio in one of his early roles.
oh yeah, he's where he plays a special needs
Yeah, he played a special needs kid that after the film, a lot of people thought he was special needs because he
yeah
did such a good job.
yeah
I wouldn't have been surprised if they thought the exact same thing about
yeah
Dano because, yeah, the little nuances to
yeah
his mannerisms, like those are so, because so many mannerisms are involuntary. Like
yeah
even us talking here, like I use my hands a lot or like
exactly
twitch of an eyebrow.
yep
But yeah, like you got to be a fully mastered, fully mastered your body and all your mannerisms. So yeah,
yeah yeah
really,
and what's
really
interesting
impressed.
is one of the one of the most prominent movies I remember him from is the 2022 Batman, if you saw that one,
Oh yeah.
with Robert Pattinson. And he plays a fairly similar seeming character where he's very like, obviously he's a mastermind, but when you first see him, you're like, this kid is really like, just like slow moving and just kind of scary. Just like at first you're like, okay, because I was convinced the first time I saw it that I was like, he definitely knows where they are and he's not talking. I did not see it coming that he was like the kidnapped kid for the longest time. Which I got more quickly when I rewatched it because it's like he pulls up the camper to his old mom's house because
Yeah.
there's some vague memory there, but I thought he did a phenomenal job in the Batman as well, and there were some similar notes in his acting.
Yeah, yeah. I think those are the only two jobs I've seen him in. Oh, I've seen There Will Be Blood with him in
Yeah,
it,
yeah,
which he also does a really good job in.
yeah, yeah,
But yeah, kudos to him. And again, he's one of those characters that's very unsettling. Like
yes,
I mean, he's portrayed more as a villain, so obviously you're not going to put your trust in that character. But
yeah,
it kind of still goes along with the theme of you're very unsettled by every character.
yeah, exactly.
But one of the elements I do like to, my favorite part of the movie that I really like to dive into is kind of, I mentioned before, is how they all deal with the grief of
Yeah,
the
the
kidnapping. And
distress.
yeah, and I was kind of thinking it over of like all the characters and how they deal with it differently. And so obviously you have Mrs. Dover, who's just like, she's a little bit in denial. She can't even get out of, she's bedridden. She needs a lot of meds to sleep. Like,
Yeah,
and then you have Franklin, who's just like incredibly sad. I honestly, of all the characters, I think he deals with it the best,
probably.
because he's like acknowledging that there's this tragedy, and
Yeah,
he's like, we have to keep going, and it's hurts like hell, but we like, life goes not they never get to the life goes on part,
yeah,
but you could see that happening in his character arc. And then you have Mr. Dover, who's in he's not in denial, but he has complete distrust for authority,
yeah,
and he takes it upon himself to find his daughter.
exactly. Yeah,
And I think honestly, a pivotal point in the movie that I saw is kind of like that started his little bit of his villain arc, was when he comes home and his wife, he like tries to comfort his wife and
yeah,
like tell her it's gonna be okay, and she like shoves him away, and she goes, "You made me feel so safe. You said you could
yeah,
protect us." And every time I hear that line, I get goosebumps, because I think every dude can relate. Is like, there's an innate feeling to be like a protector,
yeah,
and especially with his character, like he is the ultimate,
yeah,
maybe to an extreme, but that like you want to protect those who you love, and that she just said like, you are a failure at that. And so,
yeah.
I mean, how could you not?
Yeah, basically go down the rabbit hole he goes down.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
honestly understandable.
Yeah, exactly. And he's like pushed. And obviously, she wasn't exactly in her right mind
Right,
when she said that because
right,
he's
right.
under. I mean, and that goes under like, imagine being a mother and you have like your motherly instincts and your child is just taken from you. You're probably, it's understandable for her to say something like that.
Yeah, yeah,
Which, I mean, overall, that's just a very cool way that he portrays the way that that would affect both parents
yeah, yeah. I know. I thought it was
in
like,
any realistic scenario.
yeah, no, I thought it was the perfect line for his character development. And I mean, there was a few other lines that really hit home during that movie, that kind of speak to how they were dealing with this grief, specifically when Mr. Dover takes Franklin to see Alex after they kidnapped him,
Yeah.
and they're torturing him, and they're torturing him, and Franklin is just like, he's like, I would die for my daughter, but this ain't right.
Yeah.
Like, this has to stop. And I thought that was a cool point of tension of like, does the tragedy of your circumstances justify how far you're gonna go? And obviously no. Like there are some lines you can never cross.
I mean, the ends don't justify the means.
Exactly. The ends do not justify the means. But in that movie they do such a good job of like, it's your daughter. Like that's as vulnerable and personal as it gets. And if the means were ever justified, it would be for that.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it's a cool moment because he's like, they still don't.
Yeah.
Like this is still not right, and we don't have the right to do this.
Yeah.
That was another really cool line I found. And then what was another line? Oh, there was one. I mean, this is kind of like the climax of at the end when. Are we saying spoilers?
Here, wait. Spoiler alert.
Just give a fair warning.
Watch this and then continue the episode.
When the aunt is, I think, shoving Mr. Dover into the pit, I believe.
Yes.
And she kind of, they've referenced this before, and this line actually connects her and her husband. But she says, like, this is the war we wage against God. Nothing turns men like you into demons like losing a child.
Yeah.
And I mean, that's, to a certain extent, it's like, actually, after the first time I watched it, I was kind of hesitant to, I was kind of like, who won? Like, did she actually win? Like, she kind of succeeded.
Yeah.
In, like, she was good. She was old. She was going to kill herself.
Yeah. She was so mentally depraved at that point.
Right. And she did, like, she did her last, she went out with a bang and created another demon out of Mr. Dover. Now I think there's a hint of hope and redemption at the very end.
Yeah.
When, like, you can hear the whistle.
Mm-hmm.
But obviously when he gets out, like, who knows? I mean, he's probably gonna go to jail.
Yeah. And that's what I found interesting with that ending was because you hear the whistle and then you're like, okay, is Detective Loki, Jake Gyllenhaal's character, is he gonna like kind of let things slide, or is he gonna try? At least that's the vibe I got. Is he gonna try and protect him, or is he gonna be like, okay, you did like horrible things to this kid trying to get information from him, but coming from a point of understanding him as a father. So that was very interesting and very suspenseful. And the whole whistle thing was just kind of genius.
Yeah.
Genius way to tie things together.
Yeah. What do they call it? Chekhov's gun, where they have a reference at the beginning of a movie and then ties in at the end.
Yeah.
No, they did a good job of that.
Yeah. Excellent writing.
Yeah, really excellent writing. And like you mentioned before, what's the director's name?
Denis Villeneuve.
Yeah, he, like you said, also directed Dune, which to me, I was so impressed that someone could make a movie so grand and like such a big spectacle as Dune, and then also something like so small.
Yeah.
I mean, like, you have only a few characters in that film, and something like so small and so personal and hit like so deep. I think that's a really true trait of a master director.
Yeah, most definitely. Yeah, because I think mentally I have an association of him with like grand sci-fi, like Dune and Blade Runner 2049.
Oh, we did that one too.
Yeah. He's accomplished. But it's just incredible that he can have that broad of a creative eye, you might say.
Yeah.
To be able to do that.
Yeah.
And Dune, I guess, side note as well, Dune has very strong themes of fatherhood as well.
It does, yeah.
Obviously with Oscar Isaac's
Yeah, Oscar
character,
Isaac
Duke
and
Leto.
Timothy
Yeah,
Chalamet. Yeah, that's true.
yeah, him fathering him and guiding him into manhood, into his role, obviously with Dune, and then you get Hugh Jackman's character, Mr. Dover, who kind of somewhat fails in that, and he tries to like be there for his son while all this is going on, but eventually he's just like he's like, you got to be there for your mom, and eventually when his son just calls him out on his BS, and he's like, you're just out drinking, driving around, what is going on? And he's just like loses it and like shoves his son.
Yeah.
It's very interesting concept overall of time, because I just personally love movies that deal with concepts of fatherhood and a father's love and stuff
Yeah,
like that.
I was going to add that. I think of any element you can add to a movie for something to hit home is fatherhood. Like there's,
Yeah.
yeah, I'm racking my brain for any other themes that hit that hard, but fatherhood's a good one.
Yeah, it's incredible. Fatherhood and sacrifice are two huge ones for me.
Yep. And typically it's like the father, his calling is to make the sacrifice. So a lot of times when you have a strong fatherhood element, there's going to be a sacrifice by him at some point.
Yeah, exactly. This is kind of back to Dune. It just occurred to me. Possibly spoiler alert, but if you've read far enough in Dune, there comes to a point when Paul's first son is killed by a bunch of Harkonnen, and he basically loses it for a bit and launches. It's one of his motives towards launching part of his jihad, and so that's interesting. I'm really curious if Dennis is gonna
Incorporate that.
yeah, gonna incorporate a theme like that that he's already kind of familiar with, of like a father going off the rails due to a trauma like that, which is
He's proven that he can do it.
exactly. I don't know if he's really thinking in that vein, but that's a connection I kind of made.
Yeah, that'd be super interesting. But yeah, no, and yeah, back to Prisoners. Like I kind of overall, I acknowledge that it might not be a movie for everybody.
Yes.
There's a level of intensity. Like, I don't know if I'd sit my mom down and watch this. I think she's seen it, but I think that is just too much. Like, there's just such a deep connection you have with your child that if you saw it, especially with how well it is portrayed, if you saw that on screen, like you might, it might be too much. I heard something similar about the Quiet Place movies with the birth scene.
Yeah,
where
dude, those are some of my favorite movies.
Yeah, no, some of the best movies I've seen in a while, and definitely, probably my favorite horror movie. I can't think of anyone that tops that. But I heard a lot of like moms that like walked out of the theater because it was just too much, and that's totally understandable. Like
exactly,
we're all. I do think the movie caters to a lot of different types of people because it portrays all the different ways they wrestle with grief. Yeah. But there's also a level of intensity that might not be for everyone.
Yeah.
But that's why I watch movies, well, as a base to be entertained. Yeah. But on top of that, like to watch movies that immerse you in it as like an experience, and that have good acting, good storylines, and good development. Like there's no choppiness in the plot, in the character development, and I think it hits all of them really well. Yeah. So that's why it's, I don't know if it's my favorite movie of all time. It's a good one.
It's up there.
It's up there. I just watched it, so it's definitely on my favorable list at the moment.
Oh yeah,
but
for sure.
No.
Yeah. Well, thank you guys so much for tuning in for this episode. Thank you, Wesley, for being on this podcast. Yeah. Pleasure hosting you. Pleasure watching this movie with you a couple times.
It's great to be here. The journey was lengthy from my living room to the back porch, but
Yes, exactly.
totally worth it.
Home studio, but
Yes, sir.
yeah. Anyways, I appreciate you guys wherever you're listening from. If you could give me a follow or subscribe on YouTube, hit a like, drop a comment. Let me know what you think, any insights you have on the movie. If you haven't seen it, get out and watch it, as I always tell you to do, and have a great rest of your day.